To overcome, you must educate. Educate not only yourself, but educate anyone seeking to learn. We are all dead America. We can all learn something. To learn, we must challenge what we already understand. The way we do that is through conversation. Sometimes we have conversations with others. However, some of the best conversations happen with ourselves. Reach out and challenge yourself. Let's dive in and learn something new right now. Today we are speaking with Zaid Ammari. He is the founder of PPC Masterminds. Zaid, could you please introduce yourself? Let people know just a little more about you, please.
Yeah, sure. First, thanks for having me. I am a founder of PPC Masterminds, a digital marketing agency. I started off working as a minimum wage bank employee almost 15 years ago. And during my time, I decided that I needed to do, I wasn't happy. I needed to do something different. And I thought about opening a website and trying to build my own thing. And that worked out. That worked out a little bit. I was hustling every day trying to grow my own website. I was actually selling. It was a website showing cars for sale, so I had to go to different car shops and ask them to put up their ads on my website. So there was a lot of hitting the ground, and eventually I sold it and decided to move to California to learn more about the advertising space, because that was the most difficult part of building a website.
Interesting. So you work online. Could you tell us more about the services that you offer so we understand what we're going to talk about today?
Absolutely. We do digital marketing, specifically paid media. So whenever you have to pay for traffic, we specialize in Google ads, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, Bing ads, that sort of thing, YouTube ads. So our focus is to get our clients a good return on investment from their budget every month.
So is everything pay per click that you do, or is there a more stable type of mechanism that you use for advertising?
It depends on the channel and what's best for the client. So, for example, if you're doing YouTube ads, you can pay per view. If you're doing Google ads, usually you pay per click. Most of the channels they're pay per click, but what we do is anything that has to do with paid media. So if you have to pay to get the traffic from that source, we kind of manage that for you, because we look at all the data and we analyze it, and then we come up with actionable insights from that data that would improve your account. So our goal is to, for every dollar you spend, we want to maximize how many dollars you get back. So if you spend $1, optimally we want to get you back, $5.
So what type of traffic is it? The organic type traffic, or
It's so there's the organic type of traffic. You don't have to pay for the click. Obviously, you would do SEO. Uh, you would pay. The difference between organic and paid is organic. You would have to spend a lot of time to build up your website reputation, build links, write content, engage on social media, and push traffic to your website. So it's more of a time investment. With paid media, you're cutting the time short. So with SEO, for example, it would take like 6 months to a year to start getting a high volume of traffic. With paid media, because you're paying them, like for example, if you pay Google, you can get traffic the next day. So it's just like, would you prefer to spend a lot of time and wait a lot of time to get traffic, or pay for traffic and get it immediately, and then work on improving it to get a return on investment?
So if you make the investment and use paid advertising for your site, will that help build the organic traffic for your website?
Not directly. No. Google doesn't care if you're spending money on their ads, so they're not going to help you rank organically if you spend money. But indirectly, it does help a little bit, because uh, if you have, for example, Google Analytics installed, which is a Google product which tracks the traffic on your website, they would know that there's more traffic coming to your website, and the more people that start recognizing your brand from the paid media, they might just start coming to your website organically. They might remember your brand name and type it into Google and come back and click, and so indirectly it could get you more visitors, but not. It's not like a. There's no correlation. There's no direct correlation between the two.
Okay. So it really doesn't help build your authority level on your website then.
No, no. You're just yeah, you're just targeting. You're basically like, if you do Google Ads, you're telling Google, okay, if someone types in this keyword, please send them to my page, right? And you can send them to whatever page you want. And so you're just getting highly targeted traffic. On the other side, if you do an SEO, you have to wait for your page to even show up on the first page of Google, and even then, you might not get that traffic. You need to be in like the top three positions.
Okay, and it is still based on keyword approach to sending the traffic to your website.
There's different approaches. So if depending on your business type, so if you're selling a product, you would do something called shopping ads, which, if you go into Google and you type in, bicycle or t-shirt, whatever product you buy, you can see those sponsored ads with the image at the top. Those are shopping ads. So for those, you wouldn't have to tell Google, this is the keyword I'm going after. You would just kind of connect your store to something called Google Merchant Center. And then they would automatically kind of figure out, okay, this person typed in t-shirt, blue t-shirt, kung fu imprint, whatever, and then they'll show t-shirts that have a kung fu imprint, or like, you know what I mean, like the color that they choose, the size, is it men's, is it women's, all that stuff. On the other hand, if you're doing a lead generation, which is for service businesses, then you would have to tell Google the keyword that you want the person to type in for them to see your ad.
So, what is the difference between keywords and tags?
Tags are not necessarily used on Google Ads, like paid. Uh, I feel like tags are more like social media things, like you would put in your posts on social media, so that if someone types in a tag, they'll find that post. But on Google Ads, they don't. They just work on keyword basis. If you're doing search ads, and if you're doing shopping ads, they just automatically find the product based on what they think the person's looking for, and based on what they have as inventory for you from your store. So tags are just mostly for like, I guess, like YouTube videos and social media posts, but
Okay, but they will help drive the search traffic to your site.
tags. I mean, they're useful. they're useful in letting people find you, I guess, if they search for tags on different social media channels. You could use them on your posts, but for paid ads, they're not important.
So you don't add tags to your advertisements that you see on Google or Facebook, any of that.
Not necessarily. Like they wouldn't help your targeting, but if you're running some sort of if you're trying to get people to remember your hashtag, like if you're doing advertising specifically for people to look for a specific hashtag, then sure, then you would want to be like, use this hashtag to find us. But not a lot of people do that. Like mostly everyone, they're just focusing on generating leads or getting sales.
And what is the average rate to get started with ads?
If you're a business owner and you have time, I mean, you could set up your own ads, right? But obviously, you wouldn't get the same results as hiring a professional. The average time to set them up varies by the business. E-commerce, for example, they have they need to take different steps to set up their Google Ads account. If you're doing lead generation, there's completely different steps because of how you're tracking your sales. So for e-commerce, it's easier for them to track, how much money they made because someone buys a product and they know that product, for example, cost, $150 or whatever. So they can tell, okay, well, I paid $50 in traffic and I got $150 in sales, so I made $100 in profit. But if you're running a service business like roofers, just contractors, anybody with like a form submit, any service related business, it's harder for them to track how much money they made from the sale because someone would have to contact them first, then they would have to close that person, like they would get on a sales call, close that person, and then they would bill them for the invoice. So the time between someone filling out the form and then you closing them as a sale, there's a huge time gap. And then it's just harder to track the how much money you made or how much money you spent, how much profit you made from Google Ads in that regard. So there's different ways of how you set it up.
Yeah, it gets very confusing when you get back into the Google back end. It's one of those things, if you don't know a lot about it, you can get lost pretty quick. So that's why a lot of people go to the professionals in the first place. What got you started in providing these services to people?
At first I agree with what you just said. I mean, if you log into Google Ads, it's kind of overwhelming because just so many options and so many places you can click on, and some of the words just don't make sense. They don't make it super easy. That's for sure. I got started because the website that I got into in the beginning, like 15 years ago, I had a tough time getting traffic to it. And so when I first started in this industry, I thought, the most difficult thing would be like building a website and having it work correctly. But then I built a website and it works great. But then how are you going to get people to it? So, that's the thing with advertising. It's like if you have an amazing website and there's no traffic going to it, then what are you doing? So that's kind of how I found, I realized that's why it's so important, and that's why I got into it. I wanted to learn how to drive traffic to my own website, and kind of actually tested Google Ads with my own money for a little bit and failed miserably. and then I moved to California and worked at an agency and kind of learned from the ground up how they did it, and then I opened up my own agency after that.
Interesting. Yeah, it's amazing all of this new it, Google is always changing, and every time you look, there's something new. So it gets very confusing if you're not doing it day to day, every day. So how is AI fitting into the picture with what you're doing? And is it projected to help people, or is it one of those things that you say stay away from?
Uh, no, I wouldn't say stay away from it. I mean, I would use it to help me, but I wouldn't rely on it 100%. Like use it as a support tool, but not to completely run your day to day or anything like that. Absolutely not. I mean, I just read an article about it's from an SEO forum, and they found out that if you're looking, someone typed in how to clean kidney stones, and Google AI recommended they drink their own urine. So you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but uh, yeah. So they do use they do use AI in Google Ads, but uh, I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say like it's 100% there yet. So just be careful if you like, don't trust Google Ads completely with their AI tool and have them run your ads on automatic. You still have to check it manually and do your own adjustments, because at the end of the day, you're the business owner and better than Google Ads. Google Ads is how Google makes money, right? So at the end of the day, they just want you to spend more money on it, and not necessarily looking out for your best interest all the time. So I just have to be careful with that. But I'm not against AI, but I'm not 100% with using it to do everything on automatic. Like use it to help you check things and maybe do some research, and even then you have to check the research a little bit. But yeah, that's what I think the best move is.
I looked into this. It says that 42 to 43% of websites out there use WordPress. I'm one of those WordPress users, and I use an SEO plugin and all of these plugins to help me with all of these technical things. What type of websites do you work with, and what is your client base like?
So WordPress is great. So that I'm glad you're using it for SEO purposes. It's great. It's easy to use. There's a reason why 45% of the world uses WordPress. Most of my clients, they use WordPress, whether it's a lead generation or some clients actually use WordPress to sell products. So they use something called WooCommerce. Other clients, they use Shopify, which is it's a little less easier to manage than WordPress for products, in my opinion. But yeah, most of my clients are either WordPress, Shopify, and there's a very few are using like Magento, if you're familiar with this, for like e-commerce. And yeah, so but yeah, mostly WordPress is great. I mean, I'm very familiar with it, and I'm sure you are familiar with it, and it's just easy to use. And there's so many plugins, you can add onto yourself. You wouldn't need a developer to do anything for you. So
Yeah. It's definitely a time saver. And since I've been using WordPress, I've lost so much of my knowledge about websites. It's just one of those time savers, and I'm thrilled about it. So I really don't dive deep into that anymore. But Are there certain plugins that website users use for advertising and managing these things in their WordPress background?
Yes, you could use plugins to help you track conversions if you're a lead generation company. For example, you could use a Google Tag Manager plugin, which could help you, set up the Google Tag Manager code on your website, and then you would use Google Tag Manager to kind of it acts as a hub for all your codes and all your tracking. But yeah, there's a ton of tools that you could use. You could use, for example, Thrive Themes is a good theme. You could use it to set up A/B testing, so you could test different landing pages and designs and figure out which design does better in terms of generating leads. Yeah, there's some plugins that would help you show the keyword that the person typed into Google on the landing page. So it kind of increases their, it's kind of like personalized to them. So that also increases the chances that they convert. I mean, you can go on and on. There's so many plugins out there. I personally try to use the least amount of plugins, so I find the most useful ones. And if there's one plugin that does, the job of 3 plugins, I would rather just use that than have 10 different plugins, because it's just easier to manage.
And that does affect your site speed, and it can mess your site up if you get those cross plugins where you have the same plugin doing the same thing. It can get confusing also for individuals. So, what's the top 3 things a website owner should be doing to manage their website properly?
Uh, I would say make sure that their plugins are updated all the time, because you don't want any security issues, because a lot of hacking happens on little holes that are found in the plugins, so they always release updates to them. A lot of people think like, oh, I need to update my password, but most of WordPress gets hacked because some plugin has a backdoor or something like that. So that would be number one. And then number two is make sure that your messaging is clear, and that if someone if someone has no idea what you do and they land on your homepage, they should know exactly what you're offering and why they should choose you. I see a lot of websites, they assume that when someone, and I found this trap too, right? Like if you go to some websites, you land on the homepage, you don't clearly understand like what they're doing, or like what their benefit is. So that's really important. And the third thing to manage the website would be definitely have backups. Depending on how active you are, some clients of mine have daily backups, some clients have weekly, some have monthly, and some have all 3. Right, so you just have different times that you go back to and restore depending on how active you are. If you're not posting every day, I wouldn't back up, every day. But if you're posting daily and more than once a day, then definitely daily backups are necessary. Because it's a pain if something happens and you have to go back and write your content. That's much more time consuming than restoring your website.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, you learn those little things as you build your website and it crashes, and you know you dive in and you learn, or you hire somebody. It's one of those things. So Zaid, is there anything that we should talk about that you want our listeners to know about you?
I think I covered everything they need to know about me. I mean, I love helping people. That's why I got into this business, because there's a lot of business owners who either don't have time, or they're just looking for help to get more sales, or both. And I try to use my experience, and I kind of empathize with them, because I've been in there in the same spot, and I am a business owner myself. So I always treat my clients like I would treat myself and my family. So that's pretty much it. I mean,
That's always a good practice, because especially in today's world, we get autonomized and we kind of feel like we're drones, and a little bit of personal touch and that personal behavior, it sure does help a company grow. What are your plans for your company?
my plans for my company is just like any other company, right? Like try to grow, and try to get some good clients. I'm a little picky with some of the clients that I work with, because I've had very bad experiences with some clients that were too needy. There's some people just like toxic personalities, and they weighed me down. I try to please everybody, and I feel like that's kind of a negative. So I'm just trying to work with people who appreciate what we do, and that we're trying to help them. And when I used to work for the agency, I used to be the one doing all the work, and I had project manager and account manager and things like that. I'm trying to change that in my agency, so I personally work with all my clients. So I'm on the monthly calls. I email them weekly. You know what I mean? So I like to be hands on with the clients, and not just like pass it on to someone else to manage it. And then I show up every once a year, like, hey, what's happening?
Yeah. 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 I've seen that. uh do you have a call to action for our listeners today?
Yeah, if anybody is running any Google Ads account, I'll be happy to do a free audit for them, and I'll send them a video of exactly what they need to fix in their account.
All right. And what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
You can go to my website, ppcmasterminds.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Zaid Ammari.
It's always good to get help with your website, especially with people that know what they're doing. So, thank you for being on the show and sharing your skills and your services with us. And most of all, thank you for being part of the Dead America podcast family.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I hope I was able to add value.
Thank you for joining us today. If you found this podcast enlightening, entertaining, educational in any way, please share, like, subscribe, and join us right back here next week for another great episode of Dead America Podcast. I'm Ed Waters, your host. Enjoy your afternoon, wherever you may be.